Plumbing emergencies ranging from leaking pipes to toilet installations often require the assistance of a professional plumber. Every once in a while, an amateur plumbing dad decides to glove up and take to the piping, only to make things drastically worse by causing one of the biggest plumbing fails known to man. But what are the biggest and most common plumbing fails that we have had to attend to over the years? And how can they all be prevented? Well, whether you're an amateur plumber or just want to know more about the crazy things professional plumbers have seen, you've come to the right place, as we're about to explore the 5 most common plumbing fails that should be avoided. So strap yourselves in and get ready to take some notes, as things are about to get exciting. But before we get into it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe with notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any of the new videos we post. Number 1. That sinking feeling. Since the majority of home improvement stores sell toilet units, many in the do-it-yourself lifestyle take this as a bit of a challenge and decide to replace a leaking unit with another. But there are quite a few things that could go wrong at the end of the day, as any professional in the industry will tell you. Before replacing an entire unit, for example, a plumber would first evaluate the situation and come to a conclusion regarding the actual cause of the leak. A good plumber will also check to ensure that the floor is still sturdy enough and hasn't been weakened by the leaking water from the old toilet unit. And it's by not evaluating the scenario in this manner that brings us to our first most common plumbing mishap, which is the installation of a new toilet unit on a weak or sinking floor. Since plumbers have been trained in the consequences of leakages, they know to check whether the surrounding floor of the bathroom has kept its composure. And since amateur plumbers often think that just wiping up the leaked water is enough to avoid unnecessary consequences, this isn't often the case. In fact, the leak could have been a lot bigger than expected, with a vast amount of the water having leaked under the floor, causing it to lose its integrity. And if this is indeed the case, it's not at all safe to install a toilet on a base that is so weak. The consequences of a do-it-yourself dad with little to no experience installing a toilet unit on the weak floor can be many, all of which are quite disastrous. You could, for example, find yourself attending to business one day only to find that you are sinking lower and lower as time goes by. What is more likely, however, is the situation in which you attend to take a seat for the first time, with the toilet falling through the weakened floor and causing you both harm and intense embarrassment. So call a plumber already, as all of this can be avoided. Number 2. Tightening way too much. On the topic of toilet installations, there is another scenario that we can't help but mention, as it is by far the most common plumbing fail seen across the board. You might be surprised to hear this, but some homes are built with flooring that isn't exactly even. It might look flat, but take a leveler to your bathroom floor, and you might be surprised to discover that it's actually quite uneven. And if this is indeed the case, installing a toilet can be quite complicated, but it's not just an uneven floor that can get in your way as a do-it-yourself dad. In fact, one of the most common toilet installation fails comes into existence when the fix is almost complete. Hyped up on having fixed the problem themselves, most amateur plumbers get a bit overexcited when tightening the floor bolts of the toilet unit. And since the tightening of these bolts places a lot of stress on the porcelain of the toilet, an over-tightening often results in the cracking or breaking of the toilet bowl, which is not exactly something you'd want to sit on for the rest of your life. Since there is nothing worse than having done all that work for nothing, only to have to take it off and buy another toilet unit, it might be best to call a professional plumber. It's a plumber's job to ensure that the toilet is level without over-tightening the floor bolts after all. Number 3. Duct tape is not a solution. If you ever find some duct tape in the work bag of a professional plumber, it's probably best that you cancel his contract immediately and call someone else, as any professional worth his salt is able to fix a problem without having to resort to the kidnapper's best friend. In fact, the majority of plumbers end up developing a bit of hatred towards duct tape due to its presence in some of the insane do-it-yourself jobs they are called out to fix. Probably the most common fix that people like to use duct tape to take care of is a leaking pipe. Unlike something with waterproof adhesive such as flex tape, duct tape simply cannot succeed in stopping the leak of a pipe. And although it may seem like the fix is going well at first, wait a few minutes and watch in horror as things start to get a lot worse. You see, as professional plumbers will tell you, leaks are often symptoms of a much bigger problem, such as high water pressure inside the pipe. If this is indeed the case, and your do-it-yourself dad decides to treat the symptom with a temporary solution, you could end up with a flooded home. With nowhere else to go due to the plugging of the leak, the chance of the pipe bursting due to this high pressure is very high. So where you would have just paid for a plumber to attend to the problem rather than the symptom, you now have to pay an excessive amount in respect of the water damage and fixing of the burst pipe. Not exactly the best solution, right? So maybe stick to using duct tape on crafts or temporary fixes on objects that don't have gallons of water running through them. Number 4, that's not a clog. Another common fix that plumbers are often called to attend is to a blocked drain of some sorts, which could be the result of a child flushing something huge down the toilet or naturally occurring phenomenon. And as a homeowner, nothing could be worse than seeing a plumber come in for a few seconds to fix the problem and then charge a high price for services rendered. Since the fix was so quick, why couldn't you have just attended to it yourself? Well, it's this type of thinking that leads many do-it-yourself dads to the nearest hardware store to buy drain snaking equipment for the next time that a clog is experienced. But since these individuals do not have the expertise required to handle this equipment, quite a few failures can be expected when the next clog does indeed rolled around. You see, it takes both practice and a pretty soft touch to snake a pipe without damaging it, which is especially true if dealing with the piping of an old home. The majority of amateur plumbers take to the snaking equipment like madmen, which results in them forcing the equipment into what they believe is the clog. But more often than not, what they are forcing the snake equipment into is the curve of the pipe. The constant forcing of vibrating metal against metal has the ability to damage the pipe beyond amateur repair, with no amount of duct tape in the world being able to help your do-it-yourself dad out of this one. And since the cost of calling a plumber to fix a leaking or burst underground pipe is a lot higher than a simple unclogging service, you'll wish that he had just left it alone in the first place. And it's not just mistaking a curve in the pipe for a clog that results in mishaps. Cranking the snake far too soon has exactly the same effect, and may even end up drilling a hole in the side of the pipe. Being too rough with the snaking equipment could even result in the scratching of the piping, which doesn't seem too bad but could have dire consequences at the end of the day. Scratches can rust, after all, and tiny cracks can spread due to the flow of water over time. Number 5, blocking doors and taking names. Last but not least, we have another toilet installation plumbing fail that takes place far too often. Professional plumbers will tell you that after diagnosing the problem, they tend to check the environment for things that need to be taken into consideration. This is especially true when attending to the installation of a toilet, which is in a separate room to the bathroom of the home. Since these rooms are often small, containing nothing but a toilet and possibly even a basin, space is often problematic. What we have seen time and time again is that a do-it-yourself dad would end up uninstalling the old unit only to replace it with a new unit without being mindful of the space needed to do so. And once the toilet has been installed correctly and the amateur plumber stands up to close the door, he finds that the toilet is now in the way, with the door being unable to close. Ouch. Oh, and remember, if you're already a plumber running your own business or just about to start and grow your own plumbing business, you must learn the 4 critical things plumbing business owners wish they had learned before starting a plumbing business so you don't make the same mistakes. Plumbing Accelerator has put together a free training video you can watch right now that will show you exactly how to start, grow, and build your plumbing business the right way so you can consistently guarantee profitable work and free up your time, all whilst reducing stress levels and allowing you to have a sustainable and more profitable business that works for you. In this free training video, you will also learn how to generate a steady stream of jobs on demand and with predictability month after month in your local area without relying on word-of-mouth referrals, how to stop competing on price with other plumbers and escape your competition, how to convert at least 90% of your quotes and estimates into sales, and how to command premium prices and attract high-quality customers that will be happy to pay more. Make sure to click the link in the description and let us know what you thought about our step-by-step process in the comments section down below.